I gotta change the grease seal and brake shoes on this truck. I forgot that I wanted to do a video on this, so I'm already started. I forgot about it. I apologize. First thing I had to do is back off the brakes. I got a little tool on there to lift the it's that orange handle down there. It's just a little fork to lift the little locking tab on the ratchet for adjusting the brakes. Got that on there, and this little ratcheting tool that fits the adjuster. This is an old truck, and I don't know what new trucks are doing now. It's probably all different now, but anyway, there's still a lot of old trucks out there. Grease seal went bad, and the brake drum, I gotta wash the brake drum out with gasoline and then dry it with a little bit of brake cleaner afterwards. And I gotta do the same thing on this hub and this whatever they call this thing here that your brakes go on. And I already took the brake shoes off. Here's the brake shoes. They're loaded with axle grease or oil, rear end gear oil. Somebody got after me for saying grease because it's a liquid. I don't know. Doesn't matter what you say, somebody's gonna have a problem with it. But they're going back to, as a core, they're good brake shoes as far as wear goes, but with the contamination it's going to be an awful lot to clean them up, and I'm not going to bother with it. You're not supposed to do that anyway. You're supposed to replace them when that happens. I don't know what it costs, 60 bucks, 70 bucks, I don't know, for a set of brake shoes. And anyway, right now I'm taking these off. It looks like I pulled about 3 of them off so far. I got to take the rest of these out, pull the axle out, and then when I get inside there's lock nuts. And this is old. This is a 97 model truck, so it's different kind of lock nuts than what they have now. Anyway, I'm going to take all these off. There's no axle seal on here. There was originally. I mean, this would be your outer axle seal. There isn't one. It's probably just silicone, unless I never had this axle off. With nearly 30 years old, I'm pretty sure this has been off before, and that seal's probably been changed before, but I really don't remember. So when I get those nuts off, I'm going to smack this with a hammer, and I mean smack it. You can use a little hammer. This one here will do the trick. I'm going to smack it right here. And if that don't get it, I'll rotate it and hit it again somewhere else. I'm not going to keep hitting it in the same spot, take a chance on bending it. That'll come off of there and it'll just pull right out. Don't forget the oil pan. Just pull that right out of there and stand it up on the end someplace, out of the way. That'll be fine right there till I'm ready to put it back in. Now it's time to take this lock nut off. These little tabs right here, there's a sheet metal ring that goes around there. It's got a little locking or a little tab that lines up with this channel right here with this little groove, and then that goes on top of your inner nut. This is the outer nut, and then this tab right here, and there's a couple other tabs. Whichever one lines up the best when you're putting it back together, you fold that over against the flat side of the nut. In case that should get loose, it's not likely to walk out of there on you, because if that does walk off and these nuts walk off of there, your axle and your duals, your wheels, everything's going to walk right off and go down the road and leave you, and it could kill somebody if it hit a car. So I'm going to knock this tab down flat with the screwdriver. There's another one over here, and then I've got a socket here, an axle nut socket that fits that. These come in about 20-30 different sizes, 6-point, 8-point. They're all different, and I buy one every time I need one for something different because they're expensive. Got that outer nut off. There's that ring with the tabs on it that I said earlier, with this little thing here that lines up in this groove here. Trying to stay out of the light. Don't have much light on here because I'm out in daylight, out in sunlight, which kind of blinds the camera a little bit. There's another ring in here, and it lines up with a hole. I mean a little knob. It's got this on it too, and then there's these holes. One of those holes is going to line up with this little knob down here. I don't know if we can see that or not. That little knob there, that's on that inner nut. It's going to line up with that, and this little knob here that lines up with the groove on the shaft is not centered between these. That's not a perfect balance. That way, if you're not getting this where you want it for your adjustment, you can flip that over and it'll be off center about half. It'll give you the option of lining it up on this side. What you want it to stop between two holes, because one hole is a little bit too loose or too tight. You can flip that over, use the other side, and it'll give you the option of setting it in between two holes, of what would be two holes on the other side. And so, because this nut in here is not supposed to be tight all the way down. It's supposed to be like you tighten it down and then you loosen it up and then you snug it down until it's just snug, and then you back it off to no more than a quarter turn, but as close to a quarter turn without going over as you can. I'll spin this off of here and then the bearing will come out. But there's that knob right there I was talking about. Okay, got all that off there. Now I just punch this a little bit and the bearing will come out. I'm holding the camera with one hand. Let me get two hands on it. That bearing will come right out of there. Okay, I got the bearing out. This is when I inspect it. As long as these rollers are clean and shiny, with all the rollers that's on there, if there were any bad ones, it would show up. The right way to do it is to rotate every one of those rollers and check it. But I'm not going through all that because it's my truck and I can plainly see these rollers are fine. The inner race is fine. The hub is ready to pull off, but it's going to be a little tight because the seal is kind of snug on the axle, on the axle housing back here. But I'm going to wrestle that hub off of there and put it in this pan, let it drain out. There's a little bit of a well. It's kind of a rounded shape inside the well, inside the hub there that holds oil. And in case I forget to mention it, when you put it back together, you want to take a squeeze bottle and try to pour some oil in there. The other thing you can do is just jack up the truck on the other side, and the oil in the differential will run over here and fill that up. But it's best to pour some oil in that first before you put all this back together, before you put your bearings in there. Okay, the hub's off. I've got it draining out there, and I had to tap the back side of it just a little bit with a hammer. Didn't have to hit it hard to get it off of here. This has to be cleaned up. I don't know exactly what kind of seal they're going to give me. Most of the time the seals nowadays is a two-piece seal. I mean, it looks like one piece, but it's actually one seal inside of another, and the inner part of it seats on this, and the outer part of the seal rides on the inner part of the seal, and that saves you from this rust causing a leak between here and here, because the old style, the seal actually would spin right on this. The hub would ride, the seal would ride right on this, and those seals just didn't last as long, especially once they get old and the rust starts crawling underneath there. or if a truck sits, the rust will crawl underneath there and that'll just eat the lip of the seal off. This still has to be cleaned up in case they give me a single piece seal. But the double seal, or whatever it's called, I don't know, it still looks like one seal and it still installs the same way, but it's one seal inside of another. Okay, as you can see, I have dropped this hub in the wheel. Some people stick it in the drum, some stick it in the wheel, doesn't matter, as long as it's in there. And you can get this seal out of there, hopefully. There's the seal. Then I gotta check the inner bearing. Inspect that for wear and tear. I'll check it later when I clean things up. Now I gotta clean off that seal a little bit, take it with me to the parts store, and make sure that everything matches up size-wise. I'm back on this again after about a day and a half because there were just some other things, dental appointments, a safety meeting at work, and different things that came up that had to do, and so now I'm done with that. I can start cleaning this thing up. This is the pan that the oil drained out of when I took the hub off. I poured that oil out into a waste oil jug, and now I just started, as you can see, there's a little bit there in the corner. I just started scraping. I got some scraping to do. And when we get down to this part here, this got to be clean. This got to be scraped clean quite a way so I don't damage the new seal when I put it on there. Now the seal that I got, I did manage to get one that doesn't spin right on this surface. It's got like two surfaces. I'll try to remember to demonstrate how that works when I'm ready to put it on. And so the seal's going to squeeze onto this surface here, but it won't spin on that surface. It'll squeeze on that, the seal will spin on itself, and I'll try to show how that works when it's time to put that on. I've got all the heavy stuff scraped off with scrapers, and I use scrapers like this, putty knives that I sharpen one edge, one side of the blade. And I cleaned out my pan, and now I'm cleaning it with used dirty gasoline that I use for cleaning. So, and then I got to clean that hub over there. I got to bring that over here, put it in this pan, and clean that hub out over here. So I did what I could with the gasoline and the parts cleaning brush, and then after that, then I used a wire brush, scraped everything down, and now the hub where that seal is going to go, I'm working on that, trying to get this camera in on that so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I can't see what's on the camera anymore because I'm about 5 or 6 feet away from it. But I got little strips of sandpaper. These just happen to be 120 grit, and I'm working myself around. This is where the seal rides, is on this polished part right here. It's not as polished as it should be, and I'm getting the rust off behind it. The new seal is going to go on, and it might come all the way up to this rust. That's about as clean as I want to get it. I don't feel any rough spots here. I can see that it's pitted and it's not perfectly smooth, but it's not really rough. They do make a seal that's got a sleeve that can be put over this if that's in that bad of shape, but I don't want that because it's hard to mess with that sleeve. you can damage it, and then you got to buy a whole new sleeve to get a whole new seal to get another sleeve. So let me back this camera out and see if I can tear this bag open and show how this seal works here. Man, that's a tough bag. Get a knife here. This is what this kind of seal looks like. Let me show you the box it came in. Call it Rev Max, and it comes with a little tube of dressing you put on the inside of the seal around here, and on the outside where this part goes in the hub, of course. But this seal, I can hold this orange part. I can hold that right here and turn this black part. I can turn that. The orange part in the middle is not moving it because I'm holding it tight. This part out here is turning, and it seals right inside of here. Not here, but inside here. So that kind of seal has to be cleaned. This hub's got to be cleaned all the way back, so that this will go on, because this goes on tighter because it's bigger than the other kind of seal. I'm going to call it a day. It's evening time, and I'm going to cleaning up for the night, and I'll finish this tomorrow. I got all my parts cleaned. The only thing left to do is install that seal. I got to put some oil in that bearing race, inspect that bearing a little bit closer, put it in there, put the seal in, and got to replace these pins. They're seized up and rusted in there, so that'll be another part of the video, or maybe even a different video. I'm not sure yet, because that takes a little bit to do that. I gotta use a press, and I gotta heat these up with a torch around here, and then there's a press I gotta put on there and an impact, and then the pins will come out, but then the bushings are another job to get out. Going to put the seal on now. Per instructions, I'm going to wipe some of this stuff that it comes with. I'm not going to wipe the inside of this yet because I'm not putting it on yet. I still have to change those anchor pins for the brakes, but I'm going to wipe this around the outside of the seal because it's going in here. I don't know how important it is. I put plenty of seals in without any of whatever this is that it comes with, but I always use a little bit of oil either inside the bore here or on the seal or on both. And the direction said something about this stuff will make the surface of the seal swell up a little bit, make it a tighter fit. So because of that, I'm not going to put it on the inside yet because I don't know what we're dealing with there. I'm going to wipe it on here a little bit to help it slide in. Now, I assume I mentioned in an earlier part of the video that I had to clean this bore out with some of that light sandpaper, make sure this was clean, and I don't feel much of any roughness inside there with my finger. Save the rest of this for the inside when I'm ready to put that on. Now this says air side, that means outside. So it said, I don't know if we can see that with the camera or not, because I don't know what the camera's got. I'm outside in the bright sunlight. I can only guess. Put that on there. Lay a block of wood. Let me put the bearing in there first. A little bit of oil. This is gear oil. Put that on there and put the bearing back in. Now I can put the seal on. Wonder how many people have put the seal on before the bearing, and then they damage the seal trying to get it back off so they can put the bearing in. Make sure there's no dirt on this block of wood. It's not the cleanest block, but there's nothing. Now when I'm hammering this down, I'm going to hammer lightly and just keep watching all the, because one side of this is going to try to go down more than the other, and I'll have to compensate for that by hitting the side that's still sticking up high. See, it already, just by pressing on it a little bit, it already went down too far on one side. Getting a real solid hit, you're at home. That's in there. Now before I put this on the truck, I may want to pour a little bit of oil down inside there. I really don't think I need to, but I might. But this is going to sit off to the side for now because I got to change these things over here on the brakes. And make sure you got plenty of grease on the threads of this thing too. Didn't think so. Bring the torch out here.